everybody, this is Gary Chuck, host of Wine Library TV, aka WLTV, and this is BBQ Central.
Yay! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Hey, good evening and welcome to the show where a pen just exploded in my hand. The really big Barbecue Central show. This is the show where we talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, and perhaps how pens explode in one's hand for no known reason. You have ink on your hand, but we'll get through it. This show is where we talk about all the most important things that are happening in the barbecue and grilling world. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings live fire fun and frivolity show. If you'd like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Everything else about the show can be found at the main, or anything else? Everything else? I don't know. Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening. And I know you didn't get the newsletter because I didn't send it. Okay, sorry. Many times I meant to today. I'm also in the middle of what we were calling a new hire class at Ohio Peterbilt, where we should have 3. But we have currently 2 new hires, and I am in the middle of implementing a first-time training 90-day module. So we have at least something to give new hires, which we've never had before. And in free time, I thought this would be a great time for me to pound out the newsletter, and I didn't do it. And then the next time that came, hours later, I thought this would be the great time to do that, and I never did. So, humble apologies if you waited feverishly for the show newsletter to come. It never happened. You didn't get spammed. I didn't spam you. I didn't delete you. I didn't revoke your rights off the internet or anything like that, as I threaten people from time to time. It just never came out. But you're here and you're wondering what might happen. And boy, this is really great. Just like an old-timey radio show where you're going to get all the teasing up front, and we'll see how those interviews unfold. So, coming up in about 12 minutes, 10 minutes from now, the creator of her own brand out there, Girls Can Grill, the esteemed Christie Vanover, will be joining the show. It's been about a year and 3 months since she was on last time. Last time Christie was on, beginning of 2024, where she had attended the CES show. Remember, a year ago, there were plenty of grill companies that were at the CES show showing off all their technological wares for what is an otherwise general tech show, sans grills. But in 2024, it was a grill takeover. One of the things that I've never seen that came out of or was being introduced into CES 2024 was that Sear grill. I forget exactly how much it was. It was extravagant price tag. Only the likes of a Terry Heil finance sports guy could afford a Sear grill, elite level. But it had all this AI technology, and it had a great infomercial about how it can cook steak or chicken or whatever the hell protein you're going to put in it so much faster, so much better than the traditional cookers that are out there in the marketplace today. And a year later, I don't even know if you can get your hands on it. Somebody followed me on the LinkedIns from over there. Maybe a marketing person was expecting to get the obligatory, would you like to talk about it, but didn't get it. So I'm wondering what the hell is even going on over there. But that was one that really caught my eye, if you will. And then, of course, there's Current Backyard and some of the other folks that were out there. We had the Weber debate. By the way, would like to say thank you to Weber for sending me a 30-inch slate griddle that I put together over the weekend, all by myself. The assembly process was smooth. I only cut my thumb once on a piece of very sharp stainless steel. You can only ground the edges around so much before it becomes cost prohibitive. So, hey, why not put it together, immediately put it into service later that evening for what? Smash burgers. And remember, the slate has the pre-seasoned griddle top. So there was no endless burning in and wasting of Earls or special burn-in grease that you can get at a lot of the big box stores or on the Amazons. It's already done. You can get straight to cooking. So turned it on high, let it burn in for 15 minutes, turned it back off, and then went right to cooking. No issues with sticking, no issues with rust. I've checked it the last couple of days since I've had it up, although they did send a cover along with it, which I certainly appreciate. And there is the lid that goes down over it. And no rust whatsoever that I can see. Again, only a short period of time, although it did rain like the dickens today. So that cover did its thing, and then the lid did its thing. But probably over the weekend when I use it the next time. And who knows what we'll be making. Maybe a stir fry of some sort, or breakfast for lunch, or breakfast for dinner, breakfast for breakfast, all of that. We'll see how it works out. But I have the travel version or the camping version of that, which is like 15 inches, whatever. And I've had that outside completely uncovered, although it does have a lid. And that has had no rust as well. And I've cooked on it only a small handful of times. It's too small for me. It's only got the 1 pound liquid propane bottles. When you're running it wide open, those liquid propane bottles have a propensity to freeze up, especially when you're in the cold. So I don't use it that much. I don't know if are you in the market for a travel griddle? It works pretty well. And again, already pre-seasoned, so you don't have to waste money on that. So it worked really well, held temperature really great. It's got a surface thermometer, digital gauge. I mean, short of busting out the infrared gun, which I did not do. I did not.
Andrew, you are not.
I did not bust out the infrared grill gun to take the surface area accuracy and see whatever it was showing me on the griddle plate. But I installed it. It's got a little thermometer that sticks up to the top, and then the griddle plate goes down on top of it. So that's how it's registering heat. And then it shows up in digital form where the burner knobs are. I'm take it or leave it. I pretty much know where I want it to be. And next time I will use a infrared thermometer to get surface temp just to see about how accurate it is. But all things considered, I mean, we know rule number 3 of the show, if it's free, it's me. So love the price tag on that. Really easy to assemble. So that's a big plus for me because I'm not handy and I own minimal tools, even as a middle-aged man. And it cooked really well. So all things that you have come to know and love about Weber, you can find in this slate. Now, there is no cabinetry or anything like the Blackstone that I had. Although there is some nice slide-out bins that you can put in the body of it, but it's not closed off. You can take that. There's a side shelf. The side shelf comes out, and then you can put the bin in the side shelf if you would like to work out of a semi-tub situation. That is both convenient and something that I haven't seen before, so take it or leave it if that builds value for you, but otherwise, a great cooking experience and looking forward to using it again. So appreciate Weber sending it over my way as I was down a full-size griddle for the last number of months, and I'm not going to get into talking about that, but maybe a little aggressive on my point. Anyway, long open, Christie Vanover showing up here 14 past or in just a few moments, and then after that, Wes Wright from cookoutnews.com will be joining us. And we have a YouTube poll question of the week that I have to get in before we get into the first break. And I'm asking everybody this tonight. People who are making action figures of themselves on Instagram is lame. And currently 100% of you are saying, yes, it is lame. By the way, I'm with the 100% lame. I made one. I would never post it. I just wanted to see how to do it. Lo and behold, whatever the latest version of the Chat GPTs is, you can tell it, make me into an action figure using this picture. One that I got, maybe look, while muscular, exceptionally old. I mean, I already look exceptionally old on my own. I didn't need AI to enhance my elderliness, which is not a word. Christie Vanover will be here in moments. But before we get to her, we'll talk about Pits and Spits. Two things to talk about. We're going to kick it off with the Pits and Spits griddle, the gas griddle that combines the power of a traditional grill with the versatility of a flat top, engineered with precision, crafted from top quality materials. This versatile griddle is set to revolutionize your outdoor cooking experience. Constructed of 304 marine-grade stainless steel and a fully welded design, this griddle comes with 4 burners to accurately manage your heat zones and get blistering hot with 80,000 BTUs. Made with the Pits and Spits signature quality, this griddle is designed to last for generations. Now, for those of you building your ultimate outdoor kitchen this season, you have to check out the new built-in pellet grill that they're making, designed for the discerning grill master who demands top-tier performance. This grill, the centerpiece of any serious outdoor kitchen. From low and slow smoking to high heat searing, this grill can handle it all. Brisket, ribs, pizzas, veggies, you name it. And this one can cook it. With the Pits and Spits legendary craftsmanship, you can be confident it's built to last with stainless steel construction and a design that's as reliable as it is versatile and, dare I say, functional. So, are you ready to take your cooking to the next level? Head on over to the website, pitsandspits.com, and then add a /BBQ Central, and then use promo code at checkout. That promo code BBQ Central as well for a free spice pack with orders over $500 or more. And rest assured, if you buy the 4-burner griddle/grill or the built-in pellet grill, you're going to spend more than $500. And that means you are automatically going to get that free spice pack as long as you use the promo code BBQ Central at checkout when you visit the website pitsandspits.com with the double T on the pits and the spits, and it's all spelled out, AND in the middle. Pitsandspits.com /BBQ Central and use promo code BBQ Central for a free spice pack. With orders over $500 or more, we are back with our pal Christie Vanover right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard, makers of the Fireboard 2 and the Fireboard Pro and the Fireboard Spark and the Fireboard Beacon and the all-new wireless Fireboard Pulse. When you use the Fireboard app, you have total access to all devices anywhere in the world. You can find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. I meant to mention that the results of the poll question from last week, should Greg and Sam, the cooking guys, start a completely separate podcast where they talk about general stuff? 53% of you did say yes. Closer to 50-50 than I thought. I thought it might be a runaway of yeses, but in the end, certainly not a runaway of yeses. Anyway, my first guest tonight is a competition barbecue pitmaster, has her own line of rubs, has her own podcast, has recently started getting into putting on both KCBS barbecue events and SCA State cook-offs, immensely popular on something called the social media, and every so often you can see her here on this show talking about the latest happenings in the barbecue and grilling world, or as I like to call it, live fire industry. We welcome back the creator of Girls Can Grill, Christie Vanover. There she is. All right, Christie, before we get into it this evening, we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, which is this: people making action figures of themselves on Instagram is lame. Yes or no?
No, I already made mine and shared it.
I am unhappy to tell you that you are the only one so far that has said no. It is not lame.
Okay.
100% of the YouTube voting public, along with myself, are saying yes, that is a little lame. Anyway,
I think it's fun. So
did you just go to Chat GPT, or did you, you knew it was coming, or did you see everybody else launching their action figures up for sale on Instagram, wondered how to do it? Where was your interest peaked?
Mine actually came through the military channels that I follow. I saw some folks doing it there, and I was like, well, this is pretty cool. And I just searched it on Instagram, and I found all these fashion followers, whatever influencers doing it. And so one person shared a video how to do it, and I went into ChatGPT, threw it in there, and it took me about 10 tries to get one that I liked. But
really?
I thought it was fun. Yeah. I had no idea it was going to blow up, because I did this I don't know, I feel like a week ago or so, and then it just went crazy in the barbecue space.
Do you pay for ChatGPT?
I do. I pay $20 a month. Yep.
Do you find the value there?
I do. Yeah. When I just get stumped on some stuff, I'll just reach out and ask questions. And it's really interesting. I think that Google has changed completely how we search things. And I am finding that more and more people are using AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok. There's so many now. And they're even using TikTok and Instagram to search. So everybody's patterns are all different. The thing about ChatGPT that I don't like is it doesn't always give you the sources. They're working on changing that in some aspects, but so you don't know if it's true or not. So you just have to take it with a grain of salt.
My marketing guy at work uses it a lot, and he's pretty unabashed about using it. So when people are like, oh, this is really great, the first thing out of his mouth is like, oh, yeah, well, I had AI write it. And for the people that know the benefits of AI, they get it. They're not holding him to task or, calling him out on the carpet as a cheat or anything like that.
Yeah.
People that don't know use it, they're like, oh, well, how do you use it? So then he gets the ability to explain everything he's bringing to the table and inputting, and then receiving the output. Then talks about how, okay, now I get this block that AI has puked out, and now I go in and really start to fine tune it, make it sound like me, or make the messaging more Ohio Peterbilt, blah, blah, blah. So it's not just, please type me this, and then bang, you have this great. There's some effort that goes into it.
There is. I mean, I was definitely opposed to it at first because I'm a writer by trade. That's journalism is my background, and seeing people just develop websites overnight, especially in the barbecue space, where they would just say, okay, AI, create all these articles, and they would publish them, and then they would get monetized and they would make a living off that. Well, Google kind of punished that about a year and a half ago and kind of caught on to all that. But to me, I boycotted it for a while because I was like, no, that I need my creativity of my individuality, and I'm a writer. I was proud of that, and I still am. But I think that exactly what you said, it's all about what you feed it. It's all about the prompts and how you give it information. Because if you just say, give me a description for a honey baked ham recipe, it's just going to spit out something stupid, and it's going to have all these super, I can't even say the word, all these fancy adjectives. Thank you.
Superfluous? Yes.
Yes, I could say Worcestershire, just not that one.
Yeah, good. Worcestershire is more important.
Yes. Anyway, so it is how you feed it, how you nurture it, how you train it. Yeah, how you train your dragon,
I mentioned in the open that the last time you were on the show, a little over a year ago, you had just come back from CES. I think I might have been trying to give Weber some crap about,
Yeah.
like impeding on CES. But nevertheless, the thing that caught my eye as I was talking about in the beginning of the show was Sear Grill, which was this big AI grill, and it was going to be way more efficient, cook your food way better, way faster, and it had burners going in and out, blah, blah, blah. Where is that?
I haven't heard from them. It was an overseas company and it just kind of like fizzled. The only company that came back, as far as I know, to CES this year was Brisket, which is BRISK hyphen IT.
Yep.
And they have like the AI component to where you can say, okay, here's what's in my fridge. What recipe should I make? I was pretty skeptical of it when I saw it because the pictures that they were showing you didn't even match, like medium rare brisket and things like that. It was just weird. They came back to CES. I didn't go this year, but that's really the only kind of AI kind of thing that I've seen that's still kind of out there. But yeah, Sear Grills, I mean, they're probably still out there, but I haven't seen them in the space.
Last year did seem there were a number of grill manufacturers or brands that were leaning heavily into tech. So it made sense that they were going to CES. But a year later, it seemed like the exact opposite. The most tech is on the grills now, and there wasn't going to be an extra dump of tech on the grills enough to show back up for this year.
Yeah, agree. I think there were at least 6 grill companies last year. This year, like I said, maybe one. I don't know if the ROI just wasn't there because it's so expensive, to be at these shows. But I did go to the Kitchen and Bath Show, the National Hardware Show. There was a couple others, and definitely grill companies are still showing up. They're just, there's so many, and they cost thousands of dollars to attend. So, maybe that wasn't the right one for the grill industry yet, but I don't know. We'll see.
I wanted to have you on tonight because I've gotten, I would say, a little bit more than a small handful, a little bit less than sweeping amounts of requests to get some real insider input on that Ninja Flex Flame or Flex Fire or whatever it's called. I was able to leak a picture of this a year ago, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, from a trusted source who said, hey, look at this. Do you know anything about it? And I had showed it on the show, and I was like, it looks like this could be a Ninja full-size grill. And then, fast forward a handful of months later, and here it is. Didn't know it was actually going to come to fruition or not, or if we could get a sneak peek. It never shows up again. But here it is. So you're somebody who has had extensive hands-on experience with this. I tried to talk with Dave Gafford from the Barbecue Lab on it last week for a little bit, and he was just in a bad internet spot. Didn't work out. We cut it short. So would love to get your high level and then intimate details of what you think of the grill, how you came to interact, and maybe what Ninja is bringing to the live fire community in general that we don't know about as consumers.
Sure. Yeah, happy to. So I've been working with Ninja for years now. When they first launched their first outdoor grill, the Ninja Wood Fire Grill, I worked with them on that one. More so, I didn't work on any development with that one. They just brought me in and, I was kind of an influencer who was promoting it. With the Flex Flame, though, I kind of was in on the ground level. So even in the conceptual phase, I had signed an NDA, couldn't talk about it, which was hard. Just kind of gave my input on like what people like out of full-size grills, what kind of features, are popular, are what kind of innovation. Ninja's always like a 7-in-1, 5-in-1, and what kind of additional things besides just a grill could it include. And then they ended up sending me a couple beta models. I tested those out, gave those a run, kind of gave my feedback on all those, and then several months later it came out, and it's really exciting. The launch was different because Ninja usually does like big old infomercials, and this one was like an online infomercial, and like every influencer I think got one of these grills. It was insane. Everywhere I was turning, it was somebody was cooking on it. But Ninja's always really smart with marketing, and I think it worked. It got it out there. But it's fun to see them in the full size grill space for sure.
When you are being consulted with, you have a different perspective and a different outlook on live fire because you are a competitor. You own maybe 1 billion different grills. You cook on all different fuel sources. So if I'm talking to you, you're probably in a much smaller percentage of grill nerd than the everyday ham and egger that's going to go out, maybe they have the traditional grilling season of Memorial Day to Labor Day and they put it away after that, or they're only cooking out 1 or 2 times a month during the months when it's warm, and that's it. So they're not racing through grills. They don't really care too much about all the nerdy stuff that we like. So
Sure.
how much do they take your feedback specifically versus whoever else they would have on that panel? And do you sit around like a dais and there's Christie, who's a pitmaster, and then there's Tom, who lives in, New Fork, Virginia, and he's just an everyday guy? How does that work?
Yeah, so not with me. They may have done like focus groups and things like that, but the way it worked with me is that first it was just some phone conversations about what would a gas grill, what could it include. But then once I had the beta model, it was testing things out, shooting video, getting on the calls with the engineers, with the marketing folks, talking about what I liked, didn't like, even seeing like brochures and the names and they went through some of that stuff. And so then in addition to myself, they have other people in the whole, in the realm of grilling, all the way up to like, I'm sure the grill dads were probably involved because they're heavily involved with Ninja, but then all the way to like somebody who's never owned a grill before. So, and I think it's really important that they do those type of focus groups, because for me, setting up the grill was like, okay, take it out of the box, do the things. But when I was having conversations with them, they said, oh, everybody keeps grabbing it in this wrong spot. So we're going to put a sticker that says, grab it here when you lift it out of the box. So I think it's great that they do the focus groups with people who don't have experience grilling, because that really teaches them the kind of the basic things they need to add. But then they bring in the high level folks like myself or the grill dads to kind of give them the, what would make it better? What would make it more, what would make somebody like me, who is a professional griller, even be interested in something and see it more than just a basic model. So I think they definitely did the whole spectrum.
What do you like about it? What's great?
Well, I like gas grills. Some people don't. Some people are like, oh, that's cheating, and just like the whole pellet grill argument. I like gas grills for busy weeknights when you can just turn it on. So I appreciate that it's a gas grill. I like that I think it's one of the first innovative things that I've seen in a grill in a while, to where it has the smoke technology. The smaller wood fire grill has that, where it just burns the pellets. I mean, so does the GE indoor smoker technically. That's not the heat source. That's just the smoke source. So it gives you that versatility. But it also, it's different in the way that it functions with the indirect and direct heat cooking, in a way that it's going to kind of teach people differently. So, we're used to just turning on one burner, turning on 2 burners, and managing the heat ourselves. With this one, there are different settings, and you don't have to know which burners you're turning on and off. It just kind of automatically does that for you. So if you go to roast bake, for example, it'll turn on a couple burners. If you go to grill, I believe it turns on all 3 burners, and then you set your temperature. It's digital. I just think it's really intuitive, user-friendly. And they have all these charts, like, oh, hi, kitty.
All right.
And then it just...
That's Hank.
Hi. Hi, Hank. I've got my dog right behind me too. So, I don't know. I like that it's a gas grill. It's easy to use. And then I like it has a smoker function. And then in Ninja style, they've got the griddle feature that it makes really good pizza, which honestly, I don't usually cook pizzas on a gas grill.
Yep.
I'll do that on my Big Green Egg or something. But because it has this fan in it, that's another thing that makes it different, is when you close the lid, this fan is like circulating convection air and circulating that heat all throughout. So it gets your crust nice and like crispy and bubbly without burning it on the bottom. And overall, I think that it's different. I've used a Weber gas grill like for decades probably. And I've had a Heston and I've had a DCS, and I've had so many gas grills, but this one, I don't know, it's just different. It cooks faster. It can smoke a brisket, which I've done a Weber gas grill brisket, and I've done a brisket on this, and this definitely has better results, partially because of the smoke, but I think also that fan technology.
And the fan is the thing that's really helping expedite the cooking process, just because it's whipping the air around, more or less.
Yeah, just like a convection oven, basically. Right. Now, I will say the flaw that this grill has is that fan is loud. I took my decibel meter out there. If you're close to your grill, it's about 60 decibels. If you open it, it's about 75 decibels. But that fan turns off when you open the grill. So if you're just like cooking hamburgers with the lid open, the fan's not on. But if you're hanging out on the patio, you have to get used to it. It's definitely...
Is it more annoying than some pellet cookers?
It's more, it's louder than a pellet cooker. Cause my RecTech definitely makes noise too, but it is louder than my RecTech. But right. Not so much you can't carry on a conversation, but that's one thing that
there.
yes. yeah.
Yeah.
You got to turn the music up a little bit.
What kind of temperature spike can we get out of this thing?
Let me look at my notes here because I don't have it all memorized. Let's see. 600 is the highest it goes when you're on the grill pizza setting. So, doing a Neapolitan pizza is no problem. And then the lowest it goes is down to 200 when you're doing the low and slow setting. With that setting, just the middle burners on, but you can cold smoke on it, which I actually just made cold smoke deviled eggs the other day. With that, you don't turn the burners on at all. You just push the wood fire flavor button, and then that ignites the pellets, and it just blows the cold smoke right into the chamber. The fans on and everything, and so that works really well if you want to do cold smoked cheeses and stuff.
Do you know if the pellets are combusting in the chamber where they're sitting at, or are they more smolder burning? I
would say smolder burning. And the smoke at first is, it's kind of a thick white smoke. So the instructions actually say to just light them and put your food on the grill. I tend to kind of still let them burn just a little bit so that that smoke is not quite so intense. But yeah, they'll last for it's a small hopper. It's not like a pellet grill. I think it's like 2 cups. They'll last like 45 minutes. You can add more if you want more smoke flavor, or, some people like light smoke flavor, but yeah.
Any parting words for the Ninja Flex Flame before we move on to something else? How much is it at retail for?
It's $1,000. And then if you want the upgrades like the griddle plate, pizza stone, all of those cost $60 to $100 something as well. I think it's a good grill. I think there's already a lot of like forums out there. I've got a Facebook group out there. I've already done a quick ebook on Amazon for it.
Wow.
Ninja's a good company. I like working with them, and I think it's a good grill. I think it's got a lot of potential. I mean, I've already seen just everyday folks smoking their wings and pork butts and everything and having a good time with it. So
$1,000 is a fair price point, you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with the quality of it. It is the easiest grill I've ever put together, and my husband agreed. And I have put together so many grills. If you're looking for a gas grill, I would definitely say, especially this is really for those people who are like, what grill should I buy? Well, do you want to smoke? Do you want to grill? Do you want indirect heat? Do you want charcoal? Whatever. So for those people who are looking for a grill for just fast cooking, but also want to do smoking, I think this is better than a pellet grill in that sense. If your primary focus is going to be smoking, then I guess a pellet grill, if you like pellet grills. Personally, I'm a Masterbuilt 1050 girl or Masterbuilt XT because I like cooking with charcoal. But if you're looking for a gas grill, I think this is a good option for sure.
All right. So if you're interested, follow up more, buy Christie's ebook. Where's that at? eBay or Amazon? Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah, all right.
Yep. Yeah. Just type in Ninja Flex Flame Cookbook or my name and you'll find it.
I'd mentioned in the open that you are hosting or promoting, organizing various competitions. What do you have coming up?
Yeah, so April 26th, just around the corner, we've got an SCA here in Las Vegas, a state cook-off. So that one, we still have a little bit more room for teams if you want to come. It's awesome because it's at the Silverton Casino. So that one, you can just like hang out at the casino when you're not cooking and have a really good time. Registration will close on that on the 18th. And then we will be doing the barbecue jackpot again, which is KCBS. That one will be November 22nd, also at the Silverton Casino in Vegas. That's where we had it last year. That one was a blast last year. I think we had ended up with like 80 something teams. We sold out in like 4 or 5 hours. We can fit, I think, 100 teams this year, depending on how many people bring their big trailers. So I haven't opened registration for that. We do already have like 80 judges, but I haven't opened up team registration. That'll happen in a couple months.
What is the temperature of SCA events these days and KCBS events these days?
I've hosted SCAs before. It's been a couple years. And to me, it seems like SCA is fizzling a little bit. When we did this 2 years ago, when I say we, it's done with Bama Q TV, Mike Smith. We did it 2 years ago and we had 80 plus teams. This year we have almost 40. So, and it's only been a year. We had it in 2023. So I'm seeing like, I don't know if it's just travel, if it's the economy, I'm not quite sure, but he's seeing a little bit of a decline in the South as well. And I know there was just competition in Utah. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there's as many SCA comps and not as many teams showing up to them. So, but KCBS, at least, I mean, I compete on the West Coast, and we're hitting 25, 30 teams at a regular competition. So yeah, I think, and we're getting a lot of big teams who are still chasing points and who are flying out here. So like Brad Leiniger, he just shows up and wins everywhere he goes, which is amazing for him. He won my barbecue jackpot, and I think he's won a couple out here. He's already hit his 7 to make it to the jack. And I mean, the season just started, so pretty amazing. But yeah, I think KCBS is still going strong.
Do you think that SCA is fizzled because this is an outsider looking in. I'm the outsider, by the way.
Sure.
It seemed to homogenize very quickly from how it started, as in, hey, just throw your grill in the back of a pickup truck and grill the steak however you want. I mean, hit the temperature that it's asking you, but there weren't, all of a sudden it seemed to very quickly go, now you got to trim it like this, now you got to tie it up, now you got to put these toothpicks in it, now you got to use these grill grates, and you got to do this sauce, and all of a sudden everybody was doing, like the knock against KCBS was you couldn't go outside of the box and not get punished, which seems counterintuitive to everything creativity is about. So you had to stay in the box, and now all of a sudden it's like, well, you really can't do anything, so we've become bored. Because it's the same thing every time.
I mean, I've experienced that as a cook myself. I've also seen it transition from a pickup truck and a Weber kettle to everybody with their trailers. Like it's everybody's, full size with all their stuff. But yeah, I cooked SCA several times, and I honestly got last and second to last, like multiple times, because I didn't want to follow the formula. Like I just want to cook a good steak, and it just wasn't. It's not that. Now, I would win ancillaries all the time. I was the Nevada Ancillary Team of the Year and all that stuff, because that one, you can be creative. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, the round steak with the diamond marks, just it's too bad it's gone that way. I know some people out here out west tried doing cast iron steaks, and they started a whole club of like, let's get the cast iron to win, and it wouldn't win either. And I've been trying to break barriers even in KCBS. I've done Asian ribs the past couple of competitions. And it's funny because I had perfect scores from 3 judges and then a 6 from another judge. And I'm on judges' calls, and they ask, actually, they're like, why aren't we seeing more variety from teams? And I told them, I said, it's because you guys punish us. Like, why would we spend thousands of dollars to go to a competition, take a risk, and then you're going to judge us down just because it wasn't Kansas City barbecue flavors?
Yep.
And they're like, no, we won't do that. We won't do that. And I'm like, okay, we'll see about that. And so I tried it twice, and yeah, one time I got 11th in ribs, and then one time I got something worse. I don't know. It was down pretty low. And that's when I did the Asian ribs. And so then the last competition I did, I went back to Kansas City flavors, and I got second. Yeah. So,
proof's in the pudding.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's tough.
Anything else happening before I let you go tonight, Christy?
I'm headed to Shields next week. They're doing a big barbecue university up there, so that's going to be really fun. There's a lot of bigwigs going up there, and we're going to be teaching the Shields team, just some basic barbecue tips so that when they're out there on the floor, that they can help the customers out when they're selling products. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
All right, when you're up there, you make sure you say hello to my longest running Texas embedded correspondent, Doug Scheiding from Road Cookers, because I know he's going to be up there too. So tell him I said hello. And as always,
I will. I'll give him a big hug.
Always a delight to have on the show. You always been great information and great firsthand experience. You can follow Christy over at Girls Can Grill, or visit the website, girlscangrill.com. Thanks so much for coming on, Christy, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah. Thanks. Take care.
Bye. There she is, Christie Vanover right there. Always great and a delight. And I got to meet her in person later. When was that? Is that fall? Last year with Thermalworks event for the sneak leak of the RFX meat. RFX meat. She saw me, she's like, man, you're really tall. I was like, wow. You're not. I had no idea. But great to see everybody in person out there. And again, girlscangrill.com, the website, at Girls Can Grill on social media, and interact and see all the stuff that she's posting. Always a great follow is Christie Vanover. All right, Wes Wright is in the green room. He's ready to go. Before we get to him, we'll talk to you quickly about Primo Grills. What do we love about Primo Grills? We love that they are not round. We love that they are oval, which gives you the ability to set up a 2-zone setup that deep down you desire more than anything else. Gives you all the other ceramic grill benefits as well. You can cook more than 60 different ways on this thing. All the accessories that you want. You like high heat pizza? They got that. You want a rotisserie basket? They got it. You want additional baskets with multi-chambers? You can put a whole bunch of stuff in it? They got that. Amongst other things. And more to come this year, as I've been telling you about in 2025. And here's the bottom line. They have the best ceramics in the biz. They have patented technology. They have true two-zone cooking capabilities in multiple sizes of ovals. And only sold through dealers. So if you want to look at one in person, go to primogrill.com. Find a dealer near you. Visit. And then buy the one that best fits your needs. We will talk with the creator of CookoutNews.com next. Stick around.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we thank Christie Vanover for joining us last segment, girlscangrill.com, our website. This portion brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker. Most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, available in 3 sizes. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional, it's just a cooker you want to add to the arsenal, especially if you're looking for a barrel cooker. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. My next guest is the creator of Cookoutnews.com, and he is here for yet another monthly visit here in 2025. Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame nominee multiple times, Wes Wright. I feel like 2025, Wes, is the year that you just might get over the hump and get into the Guest Hall of Fame. Do you care to weigh in on that as we go right off the top?
I think I'm deserving, Greg, if I can make my case.
Of course.
I regale you with entertainment and news monthly.
I am the choir that you are preaching to.
I feel like I'm going to get the rug pulled out from under me, though, so I'm not getting my hopes up.
All right. Well, you remain even keel, like I tell all my sales reps out there on the road. I'm like, you can't live the roller coaster unless you're built like that. Otherwise, you're going to kill yourself inside of 90 days. Ride the even keel, and then, if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, okay, no big deal. We move on to the next day. But I have a feeling about a Wes Wright here on a Guest Hall of Fame in 2025. We'll see how that plays out. So we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. And since you are a guest tonight, Wes, we will ask you. People making action figures of themselves on Instagram is lame. Yes or no?
So I'm gonna go with now. It's a yes. Originally, when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Then I saw the second one. Oh, that's kind of cool. Then I saw like the 50th, and I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore.
93% of us in the YouTube voting public are agreeing with you, Wes, that it is lame. Christie Vanover is currently the only one who has voluntarily said out loud that she thought it was cool, and then quickly admitted she had done one well in advance of the spool up that it's seen over the last week and a half. I made one just to see it. There's no way in hell I would ever post it. Plus, it made me look much older. There was a trade-off for my figurine. It was much more muscular than I am, which I certainly appreciate, but old. And I was like, damn, do I look that old? Where AI picked up on that and made sure to make it stick out. I didn't know I was going to have to prompt it to say, oh, by the way, don't go out of your way to make me look old.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. Yeah, I can imagine.
Not even once?
You want to make yourself... No, I haven't tried. I don't mess with the AI stuff. I'll tell you a secret too. I go on Instagram. I'm terrible at Instagram. I don't use it very much. My phone is filled with videos of cooking on various products that never make their way to Instagram, but have all intentions of it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I have tons of videos that just never see the light of day. You have
content in the can. It's just never making it anywhere.
Yeah, I then go to edit and I'm like, what am I doing? I'll just write something instead.
Yeah, why not? Well, at least you got it. If the mood changes, like you have the content, I assume most of it's evergreen. Otherwise, you'd be in some type of fight with a manufacturer who said, you didn't hit the video posting timeline that we said you were supposed to, or now we're going to take you to court or some nonsense like that. All right, so you were at HPBExpo for a day or two a couple weeks ago. So I tried to talk to Dave Gafford about it, but as I'd mentioned with Christie, his internet connection sucked on his vacation, so we weren't able to get through it. But what did you think about HPBExpo New Orleans? And it seemed the stars came out for New Orleans.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun event. It was great. And before I get to the meat, though, I heard you say that Christy was surprised by your height in person.
Yeah.
I got that a bunch too.
Oh,
I don't know if you put on your Carney hat. How tall do you think I am, Greg? I've never met you in person. How tall am I?
I mean, 6 foot.
Yeah, so I'm like 6'3", 6'4". And
really?
I got everyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
God bless.
Multiple people were like, "Oh wow, you're really tall."
You're Darius Garland height. Wow.
Yeah, but it was a great event. There was a lot of brands that were out there, a lot of cool products. I probably have one more article in me to write on it. I've written a few. I even actually saw Dave from Barbecue Lab. I saw him out there, met him for the first time. I didn't bug him. He doesn't know who I am, I'm sure, but I saw Steven Reichlin walking around.
Did you saw Dave and you just oogled him? You didn't stop and say anything?
Dave?
Yeah.
No, Dave I saw. I said,
okay.
"Oh, hey." Okay. I was going, "I like your content." But I was talking to somebody. I saw Steven Reichlin walk by and I just watched him walk by. But
you didn't say anything? Yeah. Haven't you interacted with Steven?
No, I've never interacted with him. But and I probably, if I saw him, and I probably would have said something, but I was more like I was mid-sentence and then I just put two and two together after he passed by. But
short, right?
But yeah, he's a smaller man than we're talking about height.
I was going to say everybody's short to you, right?
Yeah, but yeah, there was, and then I saw. I didn't see him there. I wanted to. I was going to go stop by and say hi, but Dr. Barbecue. I know I saw pictures of him there too.
Yeah, saw that.
Yeah. So there was a ton of people there. There was tons of brands too. W.C. Bradley had a huge expo. Saw all their products in person, like their new Bronco drum smoker. That was cool. The Versatile, that was cool. Their Tahoma, that like gravity fed charcoal grill, that was neat. Saw the Broil King area, which we've talked about them a bunch of times about how they need to do some marketing, and even the people I talked to there said we need to do some marketing, and we're going to change that. And they had some new products that are coming out too that I think people will really like.
Did you talk to Terry Wetzel?
Terry Wetzel.
He's president of Broil King. He owns it with his brother.
I talked to one of the brothers. The other one was doing something when I was there, so I didn't get I just said hi, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him.
Yeah.
But I talked to one of the brothers.
I got his card if you need it. This is from when I went to the one in Louisville. It's still sitting here in the stack that I collected up there. And so did they say their marketing sucks and they're going to pick it up, or they just agree with you and nothing's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm not going to blow up anyone's spot, but the people I talk to kind of acknowledge that we need to get marketing, and we think some things will change in kind of the near future, But yeah, I mean they have some cool products coming out, so now's the time to do it. I think they're finally going to release that Kamado that runs also off pellets. Is that
the Bubba Keg convert?
Yeah, we talked about it on your show, and then it kind of disappeared. They erased it from the internet, so I didn't know it was going to ever come out. But they had one there, and then they also had a gas grill that's going to have a pellet conversion for it too. So, they're trying some new things, that other companies aren't.
Is this going to be the new fad that we see here in the next year or two? Is a multi-fuel or so when I say hybrid, it's usually like charcoal and gas, or it's pellet and charcoal. It's not all three or potentially all four fuels. Are we going to see like a full 4-fuel type cooker?
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me. Everyone's about food and cooking versatility. They want you can do everything on it where, you can grill high heat, you can smoke, you can griddle, you can put a pizza oven attachment. Like if you look at all the grills that are coming out, that's really what they focus on. Is it's not just, look, you can cook, burgers and steaks on it. Look at all you can do with this, with all of our accessories and various implements.
I saw you cover the Charlie oven. Would this be tantamount to what was a Kevery grill a year ago or a year and a half ago, similar, like Argentinian spirit?
Yeah, it's the same idea. I'd say they're positioned a little more premium than that grill, but they've started in the UK. And I had talked to them a couple years ago. That was my first time meeting them in person and feeling it, and it felt like a really quality product. Like I said, it's premium price, but it felt like a bank vault. It was machine nice, closed really nice. It looked great in person.
What are you cooking in that? Like, are you doing traditional barbecue meats? I know that it could probably get it can get and hold traditional barbecue temperatures, but is this the type of vessel that you're really going to be doing that in?
The way I think about it, it's almost like a Kamado grill, really. It's like a square Kamado. It's the exact same principle. You put charcoal or wood at the bottom. There's a bottom vent for air intake. There's a top vent, for the exhaust. And rather than having it be egg shaped, it's like a cabinet style that you can, put food in. So, and that's supposed to be versatile too. That's, another thing where you can, cook pizza on a pizza stone, or you can put, food really close to the coals and char it, or, you can create barbecue with it too.
Also, there was something at the show called the Bastard. Do we like the Bastard?
Yeah. It looked nice. It's there was a few like European brands that are just starting to make their way to the US.
And that's one of them, by the way.
Yeah, all definitely not the best time in the grill market.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that was neat. It was a Kamado grill. The ceramics looked really nice in person. It had things like an easy ash clean out. You know how you on a Kamado you'll cook with like half moons. They had a cast iron, almost like I'll call it a lazy Susan on the top that you could spin and divert airflow. And it was all about functionality. They even had like the side shelf you could pop out. It was magnetic and you could put in other attachments there. They just had a lot of little kind of thought out features to make it easier to cook on.
How are they getting the market? Are they just over here showing it in hopes of attracting attention, getting some type of distribution out here, or are they available for sale right now?
I think you can buy them on their website direct, but so that brand themselves weren't there. There was a distributor for them that brought them to that show looking for distribution, to local grill stores. So they're trying to broaden, through distribution through that model.
Last, to ask you about the Zwilling grill, it says that it's got 2 infrared burners in the main cooking area. So are those rotisserie burners, or is it a true infrared burner grill?
It's an infrared burner grill. It's like a wide. Yeah. It's so there's like a main cooking area that has a large infrared burner running side to side in the back that's angled, and one in the front that's the same. It looks beautiful. It says like Zwilling on it. It's and it cooks. That's like your primary method of cooking is with 2 infrared burners, and then there's another one on the left hand side, like out kind of the side of the main cooking area. There's one that's just straight up and down, almost like a side burner, but you can put like a wok in it and things like that. That grill's it's like $11,000 though. It's a way, over engineered. It's pretty cool though. It's, thick steel, and it looks beautiful in person.
There's been a number of attempts at infrared grills. So I would say Tech is maybe the best, most accepted version. And they've even gone through variations. I remember when they had the bricks underneath with nothing over the top. Ultimately, they graduated where the burners were underneath some type of a special glass. You could kind of control the heat a little bit because in the old days, it was like tech is on, it's as hot as it's going to get, and you got to know what you're doing. Otherwise, your food is screwed pretty quick. They were able to add some adjustment on the valves for like high, medium, low heat, but it seemed that whatever that glass piece they put over was the best thing that had ever happened. And then they were probably at HPBExpo too. They've been there every year that I've ever been to an HPBExpo. And I feel like that's another brand that should probably be more well known. And they continued to be like, oh, there are real infrared grills out there. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's a few brands. I didn't see that. They may have been there. I just didn't see them, or stop by. But yeah, I don't. It seems like it would be hard with two infrared burners, like one in the front and one in the back, to not just like incinerate what's above it, to get like even heat across the whole grill, because heat just rises. So that middle section, I don't know how that's not cold compared to like what's right above. But there's a brand, I want to say it's called Crossray, that's in Australia, that has the same kind of idea, that they actually just released a electric grill with the kind of the same principles here earlier this year. So, people are trying to do it. It seems even like the gas grill markets now more and more down market, you can get infrared burners where it used to be just a premium feature.
I haven't seen anything new from Grilla coming out. And then here's something called a Pyro, great name, unique pellet fueled smart pizza oven. So the only other pellet fueled pizza oven that I know of was the original Uni that ran on pellets.
Yeah, this one's a little different though, because the Uni, I believe you manually use pellets, fill it up, and create fire from that. This is almost like if you took a pellet grill and made a pizza oven out of it, because it has a 10-pound hopper with an auger motor, and then in the back corner there's like an open fire pot, just like you would find on a pizza oven, where it's just blowing fire over the oven. And it also has technology like a pellet grill, so it connects to their app. You can set your temperature. It goes from 180 to 800 degrees. So it's kind of neat what they're doing with it. How it's different. There's so many pizza ovens out there. Like I feel like every single company has a pizza oven. At least this one, they're doing something different. It's an innovative way to look at it, and it's easier than using a manual method.
Is $800 a premium ask for this, or is this about right for what you're getting?
I think it's, to me, that's a little pricey. If you look on their website, they're having, a quote unquote VIP sale where it's $629. I'd say that's more reasonable than, because for, 800, you're starting to get to some bigger ovens that are, I'd say a little bit nicer than at least the aesthetic of that oven.
Yeah, it looks like it's $629.99 right now. I just clicked on the link that's on your website to see if it showed the price. 10-pound pellet hoppers, pretty nice. 800 degrees, that's 200 and plus degrees hotter than I typically like to have my pizza deck. But talking to the pizza expert, what your air temperature is and what your pizza deck is, you got to have those, married up, right? I didn't really know too much about that until I was talking to Matt Frampton about it a handful of months ago, and he schooled me on it. So it seems nice to see that they're putting something new out in the market. Is there anything else they're coming out with this year that you know?
They're supposed to have a couple new products, but they haven't released much about it. They haven't really, their pellet grills are pretty stale looking, I'd say. They're due for a refresh. I don't know if they'll do anything about it, but their original lineup has been there forever. I don't know. On the pizza oven front, though, do you think there's much? Like, I feel like everyone that wanted a pizza oven's bought a pizza oven. I don't know.
Or two.
What's your thoughts on that? Yeah.
I think maybe one of the best ones that I continually hear about, I have no firsthand experience on. I think you have firsthand experience on, is the Blackstone that had that like afterburner rocket in it, and it had the rotating pizza deck. And I remember talking to Roger Daly about it, and he's always high on everything that he's bringing to market, but he seemed to be especially proud of the revision that they made from version 1 to version 2 that they were showing at the HPBExpo back when it was in Louisville. I think people still like pizzas. Like, we still use the Green Mountain Grill pizza oven insert regularly for the thin pizza parties that we have when we have them everybody's looking for the invite, and it's really easy to do. It's fun. You can blast them in and out, 2 minutes or less, whatever it is. So I still think that there's a market there. I just don't know if there's demand for so many options of pizza ovens. I wouldn't mind seeing some just succumb to attrition, where you have like the nice elite imported ones for like tens of thousands of dollars if you can live like that. But then there's like a quick drop off to ones that are a few $1,000 that, you know, somebody that's doing okay can afford. And then if you just want to have one because you want one, you can spend, you know, $500-$600 like here on this Grilla or something comparable. Then at least there appear to be decent options for all people. But I don't see many more new pizza manufacturers coming to market here over the next couple of years. We're probably at saturation.
Yeah, I think where the market's at, we're going to start see some thinning out too. So hopefully the cream rises to the top in that front.
Do you think there's going to be some buying of one company buying others?
Oh yeah, I think this summer with, you know, the tariffs and just the overall consumer sentiment and everything, I think we're going to see some companies go under, get bought, all of that, because there's a lot of businesses that rely on imported goods that are got a lot more expensive, and that doesn't jive well with people that can't afford stuff anyways.
What are you seeing or hearing on the tariff front? I talked about it in the open of the show last week, that if you're on the fence, buy now, because if you wait, you're going to take it in the shorts for no good reason. What are you hearing?
I mean, everything, as far as I know, is going to get more expensive. That's what I talked to most people about when I was at the HPBExpo at Brands. Is, we talked about tariffs, and we'll see what happens in 3 months after the delay's done. But a lot of the grill brands, they try to diversify their supply chains away from China into other Asian companies or on other Asian countries. And then all the Asian countries got hit. So, if that sticks around above the 10%, you're going to see a lot of fallout, You
think that's going to be July, August timeframe then?
Where are we at? April? Yeah. July, August. Yeah. If we'll see what happens. It's a very fluid situation. So
yeah, living it on the day job side of things too, and it's incredible what's happening even from a day-to-day standpoint. So interested to see how that's going to affect the live fire industry as well. Anything else you want to scoop us on or tell us about here before I let you go tonight, Wes?
No, I got some product reviews coming out. I'm actually testing a Green Mountain pellet grill, so I'll have that right up coming soon. And yeah, I like it so far. It's great.
Do you have the side burn on it?
I didn't, but I think I'm going to buy one because I really want to try it. So
Jason was telling me all about it when he stopped by last year. Wasn't able to really talk about it on the show too much, but I'd be interested on your take on how high powered it is, because it is electrical plug-in.
Yeah.
Something that would be in comparison to the induction burner that you would find on a Traeger. This is supposed to give you more of that grill feeling. It's supposed to get ripping hot. So I would love to know how they actually do that. Yeah.
I'm really eager to try that out.
I did get a Weber slate over the weekend.
Oh, did
Put
you?
it together, pre-seasoned. I have to say, for as skeptical as I was, like, what does that really mean? Or is it mean I have to do light seasoning versus heavy seasoning? No seasoning at all. Went right to the smash burgers. No issue with cleanup, and that has rained heavily here over the last couple days, and no surface rust even accumulating. So right out of the gate, pretty impressive. So I don't know exactly what the technology they are to pre-season those things, but they might want to hold on to that IP or sell it for large sums of money, because it seems like it might be a winner.
Yeah, that's great to hear, because that is one of the pains when you buy a new griddle and then you have to spend a long time sitting there seasoning it, cooling it down, seasoning, over and over again. It's a lot, so that it makes it a lot more approachable.
This is Wes Wright. You can find him at cookoutnews.com. Wes, always appreciate the time, and we will see you in May.
Thanks, Greg.
You got it. Wes Wright. Doing a bang-up job, as always. Who wants to buy the Bastard? Can we get a Bastard? Is there an extra large bastard available for sale? Can we get that? The bastard. All right. We're a little over in the first hour. We're not going extensively long into the second hour. So we'll get or as much business done as we can here in the first. Let's talk about the barbecue diet program. You know you're interested. You know you're wondering how it's working for me because I've been talking about it. Been on it since January 28th as we headed into the shred down competition when I was going to Florida with the family and the boyfriends. But this is David McDowell's diet program that I'm talking about, and we're asking you this. Are you tired of diets that make you choose between good food and real results? Well, you don't have to anymore. David McDowell has cracked the code. His personalized fat loss coaching for barbecue lovers that lets you eat the foods you love, like ribs, brisket, and wings, and still lose weight, get lean, and feel amazing. I do. This isn't some fad. It's a proven system that includes barbecue-friendly meal plans, tailored health strategies, and weekly check-ins, so you're never guessing, never alone, never forced to give up what you love. And if you want to be part of something bigger, you want to surround yourself with like-minded barbecue lovers who are dropping weight, getting stronger, and staying motivated, loving their lives, then online you can go to the Barbecue Diet Group. That's where you need to be. Now, here's the deal. You can keep struggling on your own, or you can plug into a system that just works. Join now, get exclusive access to expert coaching, real-world strategies, and a support crew that won't let you fail. Go to school, SKOOL, school.com/BBQ right now and take the first step, because you can have barbecue in your dream body too, but you have to take action in order to get there. I believe I'm in the middle of week 8 tomorrow, week 9, whatever that is. Maybe it's longer than that. That's the other thing. Like, you're in the middle of it, you're doing it, you're living this life, and time is just clicking by very quickly. I don't ever do this. You will never see it on this show, but I was talking with a guy at work. We were talking about getting fit, being muscular, things like this. And I said, look, I mean, I can show you my day 1 picture, and I can show you the one I took on Saturday. You tell me what works. And I showed him day 1 on January 28th, and then I showed him the picture from Saturday, this past. It was like, holy shit. I said, yeah, but you got to do it. You got to commit. You got to live the lifestyle. You can do it with school.com/BBQ. Eat barbecue too, and look like a millie. We're back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, we thank Wes Wright for joining us last segment. Cookoutnews.com is the website. Got the cooking, Sam. Weighing in, barbecue and taxes, good times, yeah. Had to pay taxes this year. I don't remember the last time I had to pay taxes. The show made too much money last year, and my quarterly estimates were way off. And now I'm paying the piper. I did read an article recently that 1% or less than 1% of the American population is audited now. And it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. That percentage number is going to go down. So I told my accountant, I said, Dave, from what I'm reading, I'm not doing any estimates paying in 2025. And by the way, we're not filing any show taxes whatsoever. Fuck you. That's my name, pal. Is that a good idea? Should I go no tax pay and see if they catch me just for 1 year? I think it's a great idea. You come to me, government, try and take my money. Call me out. I'll keep it like in a savings account in case I got a bone out. I feel like that's a good idea. All right. Anyway, we are pointing to the second hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.